So now we should be live. Yep, we are live. Cool. Watch now. Yep, we are live. Cool. Watch now. Yep. Ooh. Alright, do that. And then make this smaller. Ah shit. Okay. Let me add my webcam on. Webcam. Video capture device. Alright, cool. Bam. Make that tinier. Put that down here in the corner. We don't need it that big. All right, so now we lit. All right. Then let's go over here. Bam. Make sure I can see both of these chats. Bam. Bam, bam. All right, cool. All right, so now I can see both chats. What's good, Lanky? I'm just here because I loved your Zodiac album. Hey, I appreciate that. Sophia, yo, what's good? Hey, I appreciate you guys, enjoying the album and coming through here. So we're just gonna wait a few minutes, just to let a few more people get in here before I start. But yeah. Same here. Hey, I appreciate that. Sip on this tea. Your boy throat hurting. Ooh. $4.99. What's happening, fam? Hey, yo, I appreciate the super chat. Hey, man. Really appreciate that. What is that? Suku? Wait, let me see. Yeah, let me get closer to the screen. I think so. Suku. What's happening, though? What's good? All right. How libido juice help the throat. Hey, this is low-key libido juice, bro. It's got turmeric, garlic, ginger root, lemon, and honey. So it definitely gets your blood flowing for sure. All right. Oh, this is actually super lit. This I didn't realize that this restream like has like its own chat where I could see everything. I wonder if it'll wow, that's so cool. Bro, this streaming platform thing is amazing, dude. Like this is so cool. I'm just gonna put yo in the chat. I'm gonna see if it does it for both. Yo. Does it put it in both of them? Restream.io. I don't know why. Okay. I guess not. I don't know. Oh, wow. It worked. I wonder if it's going to do it for Twitch too. What's good, Positive? I see you on Twitch. All right. I think we got enough people in here. 8's cool. As far as like YouTube and however many are on Twitch, you got 2 people on Twitch. So let's get started. I've been on FO for 13 years. Have you tried Ableton or Logic? Yeah, I've tried Ableton and Logic. I've made some stuff on Ableton that's pretty cool. Like that song Dragon Warrior that you hear is made on Ableton. So occasionally I'll use it, but yeah, let's pretty much get into this. What I want to say ahead of time is that this song, I made this song. Let's look. I mean, what's the date on this? I hope I don't give away any review. Ah, shit. Yes, save changes. Yes. I just need to see. Oh wait, since I just saved it, I don't think I could see when I made this. Never mind. I just I just messed it up. So never mind. Look how many project files there are though, bro. I'm just scrolling. This is my old computer, by the way. This isn't even my current computer. These are just all the project files. So, yeah. All right. Enough of that. I made this song when I was 15, I believe. I was probably 15. So there's missing samples because I'm 20 right now. So that was 5 years ago. So I don't use the same plugins I used 5 years ago. And this is an old computer. So I don't have Nexus on here. So there are a few missing sounds. But for the most part, this song is pretty much the exact same. So I'm just going to walk through this. And yeah. All right, so first thing we have happening. So as you can hear, the first sound that's missing is that like it's one of the main sounds, low key, but I mean it's kind of easy to recreate. You can just find some kind of bell and some other synthesizers. So unfortunately, that's not there. But we could cover all these effects that are happening in the intro, since that's what's giving this song a lot of its vibe. So. First thing we have these sounds. We have this data flare sound, which comes from ECFX, which is Epic Cinematic FX. I use that pack a lot. It was like one of those packs, you know, like as a producer, you have phases and you use like certain packs as like a go-to pack. And this was like a go-to pack for me for a while for FX and stuff. So a lot of stuff that I cover, I usually talk about this sample pack. But that's where I got that sound from. I didn't really do anything to it except EQ it. And just to make it a little bit easier on all of us, you know, I'm not going to cover everything super extensively because some sounds don't need to be covered that much. But if there's a sound that I know there's a lot of processing, I'll go through it. But next thing we have is this one, which is also from that ECFX pack. So together they sound like that. But this one has like this little tail on it. But yeah, very simple. And that's how it starts off. And then we got this thing I call dubstep perk. I think I got this maybe from Contact. But this is just something I use in a lot of songs. It's like a sample I saved. And it just does that. And that's how the song starts off. So as far as how I process that, I have a fruity compressor, which isn't compressing at all. All it's doing is I'm just raising up the gain a little bit. I'm using it essentially as a gain knob. Then I got some reverb on it, which is just making it a bit bigger. And then I got a fruity stereo enhancer, which is making it wider. It's doing the Haas effect, which offsets the left and right channels slightly, which creates an artificial stereo effect. Then we got a sound goodizer. I guess I can see it. It's not up that much. And then we got a parametric EQ, which is doing some crazy EQing, but it sounds good, so it doesn't matter how it looks. But yeah, that is pretty much it. And all together, that's how you come up with the intro. Then on the one, you have this sub drop, which comes from a Vengeance Essential Club 3 FX pack. There's not much to cover there. I think I just EQ'd it, so then that way the sub frequencies, like I cut out some of the sub frequencies. Yeah, I knew I did that because I did that quite a bit when I would mess with sounds like this. And then this also comes from that Epic Cinematic FX pack. Like I said, it's probably just EQ on it, so not gonna cover it. Then we got this reverse tonal sound, which comes from a Vengeance pack, Vengeance FX1. Yeah, I guess it's just a Vengeance pack that has a whole bunch of FX. And that's it. There's no reverb on it or anything. It sounds like it's just EQ'd, so I'm not gonna go over that. Next thing we have is this right here. This drum slam. And this drum slam is also from that ECFX pack, which is the Essential Cinematic FX, or Epic Cinematic FX, my bad. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So now we could get into this intro. Then I have this little pluck that plays, which plays throughout the song. And this was made in silent. It seems like it was a preset that I actually made from scratch. And to make this, all I did was use a sine wave with 2 voices, and then a triangle with 1 voice. And then the part B, I have a square wave with 1 voice, and that is about it. And then I have a low pass filter on here. I just have the EQ turned on the 2-pole setting, and cutoff AB is turned up a bit, and then I have the decay up and release up a little bit too. So yeah, take some sip of this tea. Whew, man, your boy throat, whew, it's going crazy right now. Whew, that tea is very strong. All right, so that's that sound. As far as how it was processed, if I take all the processing off, super simple. What makes it sound like this is having a fruity compressor on here, and I have the gain turned up 18 dB. It's not doing any compression, it's just acting as a gain knob, which I used to do a lot. Now I would just use like Fruity Balance or some kind of gain knob plugin. I'm at Fruity Reverb on here, which is just adding reverb. We've got a Fruity Delay too, which is adding delay. We've got a Fruity Stereo Enhancer, which is making it wider. Kickstart for sidechain purposes, and then we got a Fruity Parametric EQ. This is just cutting out some harsh frequencies, like some resonant frequencies that are created from the reverb, and so I'm just cutting those out. And that's pretty much it. Also, there's this shimmering bells thing that I got from that Epic Cinematic FX pack, and it just plays throughout. It's just like a background sound. It seems like I have it like fading in and out, so it's not really doing like that much. Alright, so next we have this piano, which originally it was true pianos, but I don't have true pianos anymore, so I just replaced it with the piano that I actually own, which is Addictive Keys. And I just put it on the intense key setting, and it pretty much did the exact same thing that the true pianos was doing. I have a Fruity compressor on here. This time it's actually doing some compression, so you guys can see the settings right here, and all this is doing is just making the piano sound like more sustained and full. If I take the compressor off, it sounds like this. So what really makes it sound really cool is the compression. All right. So that's pretty much it. Well, actually, that's not it. I got a fruity stereo enhancer on here, which is doing the Haas effect. It's making it a bit wider. And then kickstart. This turns on once the drop comes. And then we have a fruity parametric EQ, which is just high passing this, boosting some of the highs, and then it is taking out some of these mid frequencies that I do not like. That's pretty much it. As far as the actual MIDI for this piano, this is what it looks like. I don't know music theory like extensively, so I'm the type who just goes off of, you know, whatever my ear feels like sounds good. I'll just usually mess around. A lot of times I have a piano right here. I mean, I think you guys could see it. Oh snap. I don't know if there's anything in my track, but there's a piano down here. I think you guys could see it in the camera right here. But usually I'll play my melodies out and then I'll draw them in. Like nowadays, I'd say that I play a lot of my stuff in now just because I like how it sounds when things are just more natural and a little bit off tempo. Or like not off tempo, but like off beat a little bit. And then I'll just do like a little bit of manual quantization where like I'll play it in, I'll record it, and then I'll actually like manually go in here and adjust things. That's how I do things now. But back in the day, I would play it on the piano and then I would draw on all the notes. So as you can see, this is like perfectly on the grid, perfectly quantized. But this isn't one of those songs where I really needed it to be like super expressive. So that's why it's like that. That's pretty much it for this section. And then, you know, there's just these effects that I pretty much already talked about that repeat. And then we could get into this next section that comes. All right, so as far as this next section that comes in, we have a few effects that happen. So what we have happen is we have this heavy metal swishes sound. Comes from that Epic Cinematic FX pack that I was talking about. And then we got this, which is just this wipe sound that comes from that. Oh, actually, this one comes from Robotic. What is it called? Robo FX. That's what I guess that's just what the pack is called, Robo FX. So, and then we got this that comes from a Vengeance Essential Club FX folder. And then we have this reverse drum slam, which comes from that ECFX pack. And then I have this reverse wreckage sound that comes from that same pack. And then it goes into the non-reverse version of that. And like I said, I'm not covering these just because the only thing that's going on is they're just EQ'd slightly. And they're just, you know, just kind of being high pass. So, yeah. How I did this. We could go over that, but let me see. There we go. Super easy to do. I should do this now more often because I really like how things like this sounds, but I kind of just stopped doing it. But if I take all the effects off, it sounds like that. Kind of just sounds like a video game. As far as how it was actually made, just in Silent, only thing that's happened is we got a square wave, 4 voices, no detuning, retrigger off. Then we got a saw wave on 8 voices, retrigger off, detune is up slightly. Then we got part B, which has a H pulse wave, 1 voice, retrigger on. And then the next one is a sine wave, 4 voices, retrigger on. And that's it. Like literally that's all I did. I didn't mess with anything else in here. So this is what you get. And then what I did to make it sound like this is just fruity stereo enhancer. Offset it to the left, making it wider. using the Haas effect. We got a fruity reverb, making it really big and wide. Then we got a fruity delay here, which is just creating that delay effect. We got a sound goodizer here, which is up about a quarter of the way. I like to use sound goodizer like tastefully. I don't like to just I don't know, turn it all the way up. I mean, I feel like no one really turns it all the way up. I mean, sometimes it can sound good. Whatever sounds good at the end of the day. And then we got a fruity Paramagic EQ, which is just high passing this at about 400 hertz, and then boosting some frequencies in the high end. And that's it. Like, it's really easy to create that. So, and as far as what the MIDI looks like, I think all I'm doing is like I'm repeating the same notes, but I just keep doing them octaves higher. So it's boom, 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 boom. Yeah, and it just repeats. So it does the same thing. So basically, if I were to highlight, these four right here are the only notes, and they just keep repeating over and over again. And I just do that until it fills it all the way up. So that's how you create that effect. Let's see. Drum slam. Covered that sound. So all this is just an addictive keys piano on the intense keys setting. And I just have a fruity compressor on here, which is compressing it quite a bit. Here's the settings right here. Then I got a fruity reverb here, which is just adding some space. We got a sound goodizer, which is up, you know, just a bit. And then a fruity Paramagic EQ, which is just cutting out some frequencies I didn't like in the mids, and then high passing it, and then, you know, adding some high end. And that's it. This is one of those missing sounds that comes from Nexus. So don't know what that is. That's another missing sound. I really like to use this sound. This comes from a Kobana Progressive House Essentials pack. And it's just the first clap. And it just, I don't know, it just sounds really nice, especially when you layer it with stuff. I'm not gonna go into how I processed it just because it's, I don't know, just such a simple sound. There's not really much going on there. Whew. All right. Whew. All right. So got that. Got this kick reverb sound. If you want this sound, you can go to my Zodiac pack, which is on Splice. Just type in Xan Griffin, it will pop up. And you can find this sound. So got this like stereotypical EDM downriser thing that like everyone uses. Then we got this pluck right here. This comes from Silent, and this is something that I made. I named it Xan Wildsaw. To get it to sound like this, saw wave, 8 voices, detune slightly. Other oscillator, saw wave, 8 voices, detune a little bit more. Part B. Triangle wave, 5 voices, no detune. Retrigger on. H pulse, 4 voices, no detune. Retrigger off. And that's pretty much creating this sound that most of this sound. I got a low pass filter on here, warm drive on, pitch A, pitch B on, which is just adding like this nice transient effect. And then we got on the second mod envelope, we got cutoff A, B on, and the decay is up a little bit, and then we have this turned up a little bit. As far as what's giving it that bit crushy sound, is this distortion unit. So if I take the distortion off, it sounds like this. And if I put it back on, So that's what's giving it like that crunchy, like big crush effect. You just pick decimate and then mess with the settings. These are mine right here. Then I turn chorus on slightly, not a whole lot. Dual mode on, and then I got an EQ that isn't doing any EQ. What I find is that when you just turn this EQ on, it just automatically makes it brighter, I believe. So if I take this off and then put it back on, very slight difference, but it just saves you a little bit of work if you just turn that on, because you're gonna try to brighten it anyway. So might as well just do it within the synthesizer. So that's it. As far as how it's processed, we got stereo enhancer on it, offsetting to the left, doing the Haas effect. We got a fruity reverb, sound goodizer up about a quarter of the way. Then we got a fruity parametric EQ, which is just high passing this at 102 hertz, boosting some of these mid frequencies, high mid frequencies, and then some of these higher frequencies up here. And that's it. So yeah, let's see. I mean, we just got like a little white noise thing that happens. No need to cover that. But that's pretty much everything in this section. So everything together sounds like this. So how we get this little pre-build effect that's going on right here, it's pretty easy. Let's see. So we got all the same sounds from the last section happening. We have the cutoff being raised on the pluck sound, and there's this sound. I really like to use this tube riser. It just, I don't know, it sounds really nice. It sounds really nice in the context of the mix. There's not much going on here except I'm just EQing it, so we're not going to go into processing. Then we have this these like taiko drum type things happening. And that comes from a loop that I rendered out. And as far as processing on this, we just have a fruity compressor. It's doing no compression. It's just raising up the volume. Got a fruity reverb, which is just adding a bit of reverb. And yo, sorry you guys if I sound a little different. My throat is just like going crazy right now. So I'm gonna sound a little bit more just, I don't know, low energy. But we got a fruity stereo enhancer, which is just offset to the left, which is just making it a bit wider. And then we got a sound goodizer here, which is just up a little bit, not too much. And then we got a fruity parametric EQ, which is just, actually I already covered this sound. I just realized I just covered this sound already. I just am running these drums through the same sound, through the same channel already covered. So yeah. What else is there to cover here? I mean, like I said, it's pretty much doing everything I covered. There's like this little kick. No, that's not it. This comes from the Vengeance dubstep pack. This is kick 277. And that's just being played right here. Um, and as far as what's happening right here, you guys can see there's a few more layers that comes in. So we have this effect that happens, or we have two effects. There's this one, this wreckage effect, and then we have this right here. This happens in like a little break. So it goes and then it goes in the ba and it just opens up. So how I did this section right here. Really all I did was take that clap sound and do it to the same rhythm as everything else is doing. I don't know what time signature you would call this. I'm not the most technical person. I literally go off my ears, so sorry for the people who are super technical. Use your ears. Like, I don't know, I think it's like the most reliable thing, or your own ears, but yeah, that's just me. This, I don't know what this is. I think this might be like a side chain signal that's side chaining everything. We got this kick, which is the main kick of the song. So this comes from a Vengeance dub step pack, and this is kick 09. And then we have this kick, which is from the Vengeance dub step pack kick 69. As far as how they're processed, okay, this one's actually being compressed. This one's being compressed right here. You guys can see the settings right here. Not a whole lot of compression. Actually, I mean, the ratio is pretty high, but the threshold isn't, I mean, that bad. So then we got this EQ, which is just high passing it to make room for the other kick. And this kick has a high pass filter on it, and I'm cutting out just a little bit at about what is this, 86 hertz. And then I got a fruity compressor, which is compressing this quite a bit. Without any effects on this specific kick, it sounds like this. With effects, it sounds like this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Next thing. All right, so here we just have a ride and a cymbal. Cymbal, ride, just going along with that. And got the piano doing that. Then we just have a sub bass doing this. And I just want to give a warning that, like, pretty much I'm gonna cover these sounds right here, and these sounds are literally used in the drop. So in the drop, I'm gonna skip over these sounds because I already covered them over here. So this is the sub bass that's gonna be used throughout the whole song. The sub was made in Length 1, 8 voices, retrigger on, cut off low, EQ on, not doing anything on the 2-pole setting. That's it. That's literally how I made the sub. Oh, and I took the octave down, -2. As far as how it's actually processed, we have a fruity parametric EQ, which is just being low pass, and then I'm boosting up some of these sub frequencies slightly. Then we got a sound goodizer on the C setting, up about 1/8 of the way. And then we got kickstart on here, which is just side chaining it. Oof. All right. So next thing we have is this this bass from Serum. This is actually a preset you could find. I don't know what preset this is, but I just messed with it quite a bit. And then I got this, and I use this as one of like my main basses in a lot of my songs. And yeah, I'm not gonna go over this. It's too much to cover in that. As far as what I'm doing for processing, I have a Soundgoodizer here, which is up about over a quarter. You guys can see. I don't need to. Certain things I just don't need to explain. Fruity Peppermint EQ is just being high pass, boosting up some of these mid frequencies, and then taking away some of these higher frequencies. And then kickstart, which is just for sidechain purposes. Okay, then we have this super saw. I actually covered how this saw was made earlier. Just as like a general, I don't know, overview is 8 voices saw wave, 8 voices saw wave, slightly detuned on this one, more detuned here. H pulse wave, no detuning, 4 voices, triangle wave, 5 voices, no detuning, warm drive, on, cut off, not all the way open, but it's open quite a bit. And cut off A, B on the mod envelope, pitch A and B here. This is slightly up, just to add some attack to it. I have distortion right here on the decimate setting, which is adding that bit crush effect chorus here. Just on slightly 10% wetness, and then EQ here at on 1 pole. And as far as what's going on in this channel, got a fruity reverb here, which is just adding some space. Got a fruity compressor here, which isn't compressing at all. All it's doing is just raising the volume up a little bit. And then we got a fruity stereo enhancer, which is just offset to the left. And then I got a fruity reverb 2 here. It looks like I have 2 of them. Okay, so the first reverb right here, this one is for automation purposes, which you'll see later. This one's for space. This is for automation purposes, just to filter it. That's for sidechaining. Soundgoodizer here up a quarter of the way. And then we got a fruity peppermint EQ, which is high pass in this, boosting the mids and then boosting some of the high end. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So next thing is this bass sound. I made this inside of oof. I made this inside of Serum. FX here, got distortion on here. It's a multi-band compression. It's a custom wavetable, so there's not much I can explain there because I don't even know where I got the wavetable from. It was probably from some random bass sample that I had in my library. So yeah. But that's just one of the layers for the basses that helps make it so full. Then we got a high pass. It's got some wonky EQ in here, but it sounds good in the context of the mix. Cutting out a lot of these bass frequencies and boosting a lot of these mid frequencies, just not a lot of mid frequencies, just slightly. And that just helps fill it out a bit more. That doesn't work. And that's pretty much it. And all together, it sounds like this. And also, I have this this filtering effect that happens. And all that's happening is that on the master, it's just doing a high pass effect on it. All right, as far as this build, all right, so we have all the sounds that I already talked about in this last section just copy and pasted over here. Only difference is that I am filtering out the saws, so that's why you can hear all the basses together. And then you got the kick playing, but it's a high pass version of the kick, so it's not actually, where's the kick at? So this isn't the full kick. Actually, it's just the top kick. So it's not the other part of the kick. We got this riser sound. And how I did that was I have D-Blue glitch on here, and all that's doing is there's a tape stop effect that makes it go error, error, error. And that's how it's doing that. Then we got a free stereo enhancer, which is just offsetting it to the left, which is making it wider. We got a fruity parametric EQ, which is high passing it, boosting up some of these higher frequencies. And yeah. Got this Phillips tube effect happening again. We got this pluck that keeps happening. And then we have this clap build thing that happens right here. And this is just this is high passed. There's no crazy effects going on there. That's pretty much it. I'm just using the sounds I've already pretty much covered. And I just keep reusing them in different ways. And I have like a drum slam right here, which just helps, I don't know, just make the track a little bit more interesting and build a little bit more tension. And it just builds up more and more. So then you have the kick do this. And then on the master channel, we have that high pass effect happen again. And then I have the kick get cut out by this sub drop sound. And this. And then I just have it leave off on this one piano note. And then it goes into the drop. So we're gonna have a little interlude moment. Here, let me type in something into the chat. So I'd really appreciate if you know, anybody in here, if you guys are enjoying this walkthrough and you guys want to, you know, see other songs that I do, because this song, it's not going to be up on YouTube or Twitch after the stream. It's done. So whoever is here gets to see it, and the only people who get to replay this is people on Patreon, which there may be a few patrons in here. But on Patreon, there's exclusive walkthroughs that literally will only be shown on Patreon. I have my Colors remix fully walkthroughed on there. I have my Turns to Dust remix on Patreon. I have my song Journey on Patreon. I have my Pins and Needles remix on Patreon. I have my Silent Skies remix on Patreon, my 7 Lines Silent Skies remix, and this is going to be on Patreon. So I'm building up a lot of content over there, you know, just to give a little bit of an initiative for people to go over there and support it. I really appreciate it, just because it is, you know, mad difficult making a living as an artist, and streams just don't really cut it. And you know, I could get millions of streams and only make like $1,000, and anybody in here knows how hard it is to get millions of streams, and I'm making less than, you know, some of my friends who work at minimum wage jobs, for something that I'd say is arguably harder to do, which is get millions of streams. So, you know, I'd really appreciate if you could go over to the Patreon, subscribe. The lowest tier where you can get access to everything is $8 a month. So I don't know, I just feel like that's a pretty good amount, since that's pretty much like 2 cups of coffee, or at least like 2 expensive cups of coffee at Starbucks. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can enjoy this walkthrough. But if you'd like to support me directly and, you know, support me making music and doing this, then, you know, I'd really appreciate that. Yeah, and I'll put it over here in the Twitch for anybody who's in Twitch. Just really appreciate, I don't know, just some support on the Patreon. So, let's get in on this drop. And for people asking about the like people asking for breakdowns on other songs, Patreon's gonna get that first. So if I do any breakdowns on any songs I requested, the full breakdown is not gonna be posted on YouTube. It's only gonna be on Patreon. So if you really want to see it, then go down to Patreon. And if you go to Patreon and you give me a suggestion of walkthroughs to do, it's like guaranteed that it's going to happen, because you're, you know, financially supporting me. So of course I'm going to do whatever, you know, you want me, whatever you want to see, you know, just so I could provide value. So yeah. Yo, Alec, I really appreciate the 20, bro. That means a lot, man. Thank you, dude. Love your work. Huge inspiration for myself personally. Hey, man, appreciate that. Seriously. Really appreciate you doing a super chat, man. That means a lot. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll just keep going with this walkthrough. So let's see. Also, if anybody has any like specific questions or anything, put them in the chat. And, you know, I keep like glancing over at the chat. So if there's any like specific things you want me to cover, just let me know. All right. Let's see. All right. So now we're in the drop. And I covered all the sounds in here. So we have this saw. We got this bass. Got this bass. Got that clap sound. Got that bass. We got that cymbal, and then we got, you know, the stereotypical EDM sweeps. All right. So it's pretty much playing the chords that I did, and the only difference is that it doesn't just sustain them. It does like this pattern that's going like dun 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 dun. So it goes, it sustains, and then it does dun 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 dun. So I don't know if I could give an example. It's like, okay, it's lagging like crazy, so I can't do it, but I'll just play it. So that's the only difference in like the actual like MIDI pattern. But yeah, so let's keep going. All right, so now we got this part, which is really interesting. It transitions into this part. So how I did that was really easy. There's like no sound design here really. All I did was just take a whole bunch of like samples and like put them together. So I got all of these from the Robo FX pack. And that's what that sounds like by itself. That's what that one sounds like. That's what that one sounds like. And then I have this, which is just a fill. And then that's the original sound, but I just chopped it. So it does that. And so, and all I did was just put them in like a really simple pattern. And that's how you get that effect. And then also what I did is I automated the reverb on the super saw. So if you hear Here. So you heard that little like rise that it does where it goes like, ah, like it kind of rises. That comes from the reverb that I put on the Supersaw, and all I did was automate the wetness. So this clip that you see me selecting, that's in red, this is just automating the wetness. So that way it goes from silence to, I don't know, this like build up reverse sound. And that's how I did that. And then it does this effect again. And then we have this reverb clap sound. And then I also have this sub drop sound. And all together, like breaking it down like that is super simple. But when I put it all together, it sounds like this. And then it goes into the drop again. So now we're back in the drop. And there's actually supposed to be like a lead here, but like I said, Nexus doesn't work. So the only thing that's here is this piano. And yeah, this is just addictive keys with a lot of reverb. It's the exact same processing as I covered before, which is, you know, it's just being heavily compressed, some reverbs thrown on it, and it's EQ'd. So that's about it. And it just keeps repeating itself, and nothing else really new gets introduced in this section. So we can go into the second part of the drop. All right, so in this second part of the drop, we have this happening. So it's just a little pattern that's playing, and that's the only new element that's really being introduced. Yeah. Then it goes into this next section where it just drops out in the first beat, and we have that sub drop. And all that's happening right here, we just got a riser effect that's added from earlier. And yeah, and in this section right here, I just literally copy and pasted this. It just maybe has like one more layer on top. I think the I guess it doesn't have another layer on top. Maybe I just made this piano louder right here. But that's it. And then we go into this next section where it's just piano, and then there's this break section. And all this is just Alchemy. This is just a factory sound from Alchemy. Just one of the, it comes from, yeah, just factory presets. It's in the mallet section. And then this is in the string section of the factory presets. As far as the processing on these, so without any processing, it sounds like this. So lots of reverb. Got a fruity compressor, no compression, just adding some volume to it. We got a fruity reverb 2 here, which is just boosting the wetness, which is just for reverb. And then we got a fruity stereo enhancer, offset to the left. And then we got a fruity parametric EQ, which is just taking away some of these mid frequencies and adding in some higher frequencies and high pass in it. And that's how that sound is processed. As far as how this is processed, fruity stereo enhancer, making it wider, just offset to the left. Then we got a fruity compressor, which is just boosting the gain, just a few dB. That's all it's doing. And then we got a sound goodizer here, up a quarter of the way. Got a fruity parametric EQ, which is just high passing this at 240 hertz, and then adding a bit of treble. And that's about it. And then you just get hit with this kick reverb sound. And yeah, I mean, at this point, sounds start repeating. I mean, the piano comes back in, layered with this. And then you have this sound right here. I mean, you guys could tell when I made this, I was listening to a lot of, I said listening. I was watching a lot of anime. So yeah, that's it for this section. Then it goes into the next section. Pluck comes back. Music box. Piano. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then it goes back into this pretty much same kind of build, like pre-build, because this isn't the actual build, but this is like the pre-build to the build. And it's literally doing the exact same thing essentially, except it just has that music box playing in it this time. Okay, so this isn't like a pre-build. This is like the actual build. So it goes into an actual build, and then once it goes into the second actual build, how long is this? How long I've been going for? About an hour. Okay, cool. That means I did a pretty thorough job. And it pretty much does the exact same build as the other one, except this time, really the pitch is supposed to get pitched up on the piano, but since I'm not using Nexus, it didn't pitch up correctly, so I just muted that clip. But that's the only difference. And I think I do. So I don't know if I did that over here. No, right there. No, I didn't. So this one just has this pause that happens with this piano. And then you have this reverse snare sound. And then you're into the drop again. And literally, I just repeated. I literally like copy and pasted the other drop over here. So I'm not going to go. Okay, I didn't exactly copy and paste it. I could tell that I didn't do that. Brain, like, I'll just play it. 'Cause when I do it like that, you're just like, what? Let me see. Where is it at? No. Oh, this part. I didn't do this again. So I just didn't do that section again, and just essentially just cut out a few sounds, and it just does the exact same thing as the other part. So this is one of those songs where I just kind of copy and pasted what already happened, exact same sounds, and then just this, and then the plucks fade in, and then it just pretty much ends. So that is Voyage. That is the whole thing. I mean, there were a few sounds missing, which whoever really loves the song could probably hear that. This is what the project file looks like. You guys can see how unorganized I am. But yeah, some of these automation clips are mad unnecessary. So it looks like a lot, but really, I mean, it is a lot, but that's because I wasn't like practical in how I did certain things. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So, I mean, I guess before I hop off this stream, I'll just sit here for a second answering any questions. So if anybody has any questions specifically about this song or about anything else, just ask them right now and I'll give you an answer. Also, for anybody who is interested in seeing more song walkthroughs, seeing me do full walkthroughs, thorough walkthroughs of things, interested in downloading my project files, not all of them, but I'm going to be giving away a few of them. Make sure to go join my Patreon. My Patreon is inside the chat on Twitch, and it's the pinned comment on my YouTube. And my Patreon pretty much is just having content where I just walk through some of my most popular songs I've done very thoroughly. Among other things, it's still brand new. I just made it like about a week ago, or maybe even less than a week ago. So I'm still populating it with content, but the content on there is going to be really good because I'm gonna talk about different things, like some video ideas. For example, is how to play EDC when you're a teenager, because for those who don't know, I played at EDC when I was 17 years old. So I'm gonna give you guys the whole story, how that happened. I'm gonna tell you guys how, like from the beginning, like how I got the connections, who you need to know in order to even like play at a place like that, the politics in it, all those things. I'll tell you guys how to get on Mr. Suicide Sheep. I'll tell you guys how I got it. So I'll give you guys detailed experiences of how I got on Mr. Suicide Sheep, how I got on Proximity, how I got on Trap Nation, because you don't see any producers, anyone talking about that. So I'm just looking for things that really could set me apart as far as content and what would make you interested in subscribing. So those are some of the topics I'm going to be covering. So if you're interested in videos like that, you know, make sure to go subscribe to the Patreon, or become a patron at the Patreon. I'm so used to saying subscribe, but you know, become a patron, because I'm gonna be doing detailed videos like that, and just among a whole bunch of other things, like how I got my first 1 million streams, how I got my first 1 million views on YouTube on my music. And I'm gonna be explaining it from the perspective of me having nothing to going to 1 million. So I'll tell you that whole process. So yeah, holy layers. I remember finding you on Mr. Suicide Sheep in 2015. Dang, man, yeah, that's a long time ago. That must have been Utopia. I think that's like the only song I had up on Mr. Suicide Sheep back then. Xan Griffin, Ketone, please wants to know if you will do a ATBIDC walkthrough. I'll probably do. I mean, it's gonna be one of the mini walkthroughs. I don't know how soon I'm gonna do that. How I'm doing these walkthroughs is whatever's the most requested ones are the ones I'm doing first. So if I get a few more people asking for it, then for sure. If you're a patron though, Ketone, then you know you get frontline access. So I mean, I don't know if you are though. That's my bad if I don't recognize your name. I'm not good with names. That's like one of my weaknesses. But let me know if you are, and if you are, then I could definitely that'll be like pretty much the next thing on my list. But it'll be on my list in general for sure. You are? Okay, for sure. I got you then. I got you. I'll make sure it's one of the like next few ones I do for sure then. So expect that soon. Um what song have you made that impressed yourself? I mean honestly the songs that impressed myself are the ones that do the worst, like as far as like streams and numbers and stuff, which is really funny. Backwards was like a real moment for me because I mean it was just cool being able to do so much with my voice in that song, and I never thought that I would have a vocal driven track that was done by me. Um Awakening, I was really impressed with myself because that was like I got real out of my comfort zone when I did that song. Especially with the guitars and stuff, I was just like, bro, this is so epic. Um what else? Lightly, I was really impressed with myself. Just because it was just different than what I usually do. Like something like Voyage, like this song, honestly, it was kind of like it was fun to make, but I wasn't really that impressed with it. Like a lot of the songs that a lot of people like are the songs that I'm kind of like, about. They're not that like groundbreaking. Like even Capricorn is one of those songs where like I enjoy making it. It's a great song, but it was one of those things where I was like, well, it was pretty easy to make, so I wasn't really that impressed with it. Um, Journey, I was pretty impressed with. Um, Let This Go, my most recent song that came out, I was impressed with myself when I did that. Um, yeah, and a song that I'm working on right now that, of course, isn't out because I'm working on it right now. I'm super impressed with myself, just because, like I said, I'm getting out of my comfort zone again, and so yeah, Alec, really appreciate your insight. We'll definitely be following closer in my free time. Any other grand Zodiac projects for the future? I mean, there definitely will be like big projects. I don't know about like this year or maybe even next year, but for sure in the future, I'm just trying to rebuild my skill set back up. Cause when I did Zodiac, I was like very confident in like who I was as an artist and like what I wanted to like portray in that album. And you guys could just like look at the songs I'm releasing. I mean, I'm in a phase where I'm kind of searching again, kind of like my song. Um, and I'm just trying to figure myself out again because I was a teenager when I made it. So like I was a complete different person when I was 16 to 18, which is when I was making Zodiac. And now I'm 20. I'm about to be 21 in less than a month. And so I'm just kind of rediscovering myself. So with that, I'm also rediscovering what I like in music and what I like to do. So I don't know. Whenever I figure it out, whenever I'm like very confident in like what I really like, then that's when I'm gonna do another project. Leo and Free Mind are my faves from you. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, Free Mind was really fun. Bless, brother. Yeah, I remember following once I found your TCBL remix from years back. What's that? TCBL. I'm trying to think to TCBL. TCBL. Hiding in the rain. What's TCBL stand for? I'm trying to figure it out. This could be love. Oh, this could be love. That's so funny. That's kind of crazy. Some of the song, like I just feel like those are like I forget I even made some of those things. Like the amount of grind that I put into this is like kind of crazy sometimes. Like there's so many songs I forgot I even made. And even right now, I feel like it's a similar phase to when I was putting out all those remixes, how I'm doing these songs every 2 weeks. It feels like the same thing where like I'm getting comfortable doing things and I'm seeing kind of what works for me and for like what people like. And then after I'm done with this, then I come out of it just like a new man where I'm just like, oh, bro, I know exactly what I need to do. So that's really cool that you said that because it just reminded me of like a whole phase I forgot about, which was like all of those remixes and all those songs that I like totally forgot I made. Like literally a rush of memories just went back and I was like, dude, wow, I've been at this for a while. Dang, yeah, you've been around for a long time, bro. But you're on my Twitch, so of course you've been around for a long time. When I heard Taurus, it blew my mind. LOL. That's so funny. I remember when like my manager at the time, when I showed him that instrumental, he was like very like not impressed. It was so funny. He was like, "Ah, yeah, it's cool," and I was like, "Oh, for sure." Didn't you make Insanity in a day? Haha. I think it was a day. I think it was either a day or 2 days. It was like one of those things. It was a day or two, maybe three. I like now I'm starting to forget, but I know it was one of those songs where it did not take long for me to make it. I was just like I was in such flow state that I just got it done. All right. I don't know. Do I have any other people here who have any like specific questions, whether that's production or I don't know, anything? If not, then I'm probably gonna peace out. And also, like I said, this walkthrough for anybody who wants to rewatch it, it will be exclusively on Patreon. What will happen is I will post a. What I like to do is I'll post a edited version for YouTube where I talk about the drop. But that's about it. Maybe I won't post this one on YouTube. Maybe I'll just keep it on Patreon. I need to just keep certain things just exclusive. I think this one I'll just keep on Patreon probably. So yeah, Silent Skies for sure. I'm gonna post that eventually. But yeah. Thanks as always, man. Keep that grind up. Hey, appreciate it, bro. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Do you think a positive and healthy way of building creativity and musicality is working on remixes? Oh yeah, I totally feel that. I think I've just did it. I did it for like I'd say like maybe like 2 or 3 years straight. Like where I was just like doing so many remixes. I got tired of it because I just kept getting like copyright claims and I couldn't do certain things with music. I couldn't do certain things with those songs. It just got really tiring after a while just because like you're so limited what you could do at remixes that I just stopped. I got what I needed to get out of it. And after I did that, it helped me build my skill set up, like for sure. And it allowed me to know how to work with vocals. Because I noticed some producers don't really know how to work with vocals and like make room for them and stuff. And me doing remixes definitely taught me that skill. So I definitely recommend it for anybody who doesn't have like a lot of experience. But if you have like a lot of experience already, I mean, I don't really think you need it. Glad to have experienced the last 5+ years of growth. Definitely excited to for the next. Take it easy. You too, Alec. Appreciate the super chat again, man. Yo, you still have your Gate Relief remix project? I wish I could go back in time. What a beautiful track. Hey, thank you. I think it's still on here for sure. I mean, not for sure. Yeah, for sure it's still on here. I still have the project. I just don't know what synthesizers I use, so I don't know how like put together the project is, and I don't know what samples might be missing from it, but I may go through it. So yeah. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end the stream right here. I'm going to mention it one last time. If you guys want to be able to rewatch this walkthrough all the way through, make sure to go to my Patreon. The Patreon is inside of the Twitch chat, and it's also the pinned comment or the pinned thing on the YouTube live chat. And I have my Silent Skies remix on my Patreon. I have my Colors remix on my Patreon. I have my Turns to Dust remix on my Patreon. I have my Pins and Needles remix on my Patreon. I have Journey on my Patreon, and in this song. So we got 6 things, I think. And there's gonna be a ton of other content there too. But that's the last one I'm gonna mention. That you guys probably getting sick of that. So I appreciate you guys just coming in here and chilling with me, and I hope you learned something. So yeah, I hope you guys have a nice day or night or whatever time it is wherever you are. Yeah. So peace.